So the last 24 hours have been interesting if you're a Fall Guys fan. The hashtag Save Fall Guys is trending with almost 5,000 tweets, which for community of Fall Guys size is ridiculous number. And basically everyone in the Fall Guys community has said something about this. The main premise of it is basically people don't like skill-based matchmaking, or here's a good tweet about it. People don't like skill-based matchmaking. It tries to advertise itself as a casual game and does not really make sense for such a casual thing to have skill-based matchmaking, which makes a lot of people just stay out of solo show altogether, where skill-based matchmaking is, as opposed to the LTMs where they don't have skill-based matchmaking are a lot more enjoyable. The shop where it's free, well, since it's gone free to play, they've basically adopted like the Fortnite V-Bucks system, except a bunch more people play Fortnite and it doesn't really work here, and so a lot of stuff's overpriced and like no one gets it, and besides like a few skins that are really iconic. I mean, if we just go to the Fall Guys Twitter page, like I'm scroll down a little bit. Oh hey, look, Star Trek skin. Oh look, another skin. Oh, a new game mode. Oh, another skin. Oh, a new game mode. Another skin. Then whatever this hot dog thing was about, I don't know what that is. Turns out that game mode wasn't actually the game mode, by the way. They can't even get that right. Oh hey, another skin. It's just like basically every 2 days they bring out skins worth like $15 to $20, and it's a tad bit annoying. And on top of that, they haven't made any updates addressing a lot of the issues with the game, which there are too many to mention, but one of the biggest ones being just a lot of the rounds, which I think that's mentioned here as well. Yeah, mentioned here. A lot of the round pool, just like only 45 of the 76 rounds are in. I think there's another good tweet in here about it. Yeah, right here. The old solo show had, this was before the new season, Super Season 2, had 56 of 64 total rounds, minus like team games, stuff like that. Team games, Sweet Thieves, and Bean Hill Zone, which that's the Sonic collab, so it makes sense that those aren't all there. Had every single variation of rounds in. Then this season, despite adding new rounds, we have only 45 of the 76 in, with 100 of 400 possible variations in, which the coolest thing in my eyes about this new season was the new variations. So it's cool that those are there, but then just like removing everything else, it's kind of whack. So obviously, so these are the rounds that just aren't there a lot of the time. You have a lot of stuff, a lot of just like the core levels are gone. Like you don't see them at all. It's very whack. None of this can be exact, because like sometimes you'll see like one map for like literally once out of like every 100 out. But basically the thing is there's not enough variations and stuff like that, and they are refusing to address things like that while continuously pushing their new skins that will make them a lot of money, because yay money. Other things that I went over was the live events. They recently had the Hatsune Miku live event, which, woo, Hatsune Miku, awesome. But they made the core game modes just fundamentally different for, I think it was 2 weeks, which is a really long time. Especially because there was no way to play those fundamental game modes. Like, you couldn't play solos, duos, or squads as they normally were. You had to play the Hatsune Miku modes, which, like, this limited round pool here, like, it was like way worse. There was only like 20 rounds in rotation during that. It was quite painful. I saw so many people just not play during that event, unless the only reason I saw most people playing during that was because there was a lot of tournaments going on, but that's just in my friends circle. I know a lot of casual players were also very unhappy about it. Then squads and duos, they also have massive issues with just the game's dragging on for like 15,000 years. That's an exaggeration, but yeah, 8+ round games. Then you get massive team games, other stuff like that just no one wants and no one's wanted for a while now, but they still kind of exist. And it's just a problem overall that they're just ignoring it. So yesterday, the hashtag #SaveFallGuys started up, and classic Mediatonics reasons, they decided to go live on Twitch, because that seems like the best course of action. And so everyone starts spamming remove SBMM in their chat. Like, I opened up their stream, like 9 out of 10 messages were stuff about removing stuff and like #SaveFallGuys, stuff like that. So much so that you see here, they banned it in their channel. Your message was not posted due to conflicts within channel's moderation settings. Basically means that they banned hashtag remove SBMM for being put in their chat. Which, I mean, I get it. Like, you're live, whatever, you don't want to deal with it. But it's not like they've acknowledged it, right? Like, you go, here's their Twitter. Not like they've acknowledged it. Also, I looked through their Discord. I'm not like an avid Discord user, but like there hasn't been anything like announcements or like stuff like that. So something that would just indicate that they are taking this seriously. Like, they're at least want to hear feedback, or at least want to change some of these things. And it's like, it's not like just one or two, it's like basically everyone who I know, even if they aren't tweeting about it, is upset with Fall Guys. Like, the people who are tweeting about it are still caring and still playing it. That's the thing. The people who just aren't saying anything have already left. The sales already shipped for them, and it's a sad thing. But to give my perspective as someone who's kind of played Fall Guys for a long time, I think I feel like it's just kind of more of the same. Like, if anyone remembers season 6, season 5, season 4 lasting about 6 to 7 months each season, that was very upsetting in a lot of issues. Like, sure, it might not have had some of the bugs like the round pool, but the season lasting like 7 months or 6 months at a time was so demoralizing as a player of Fall Guys. And like, while this stuff does suck, I'm not gonna defend them. It just, like, I feel like I'm so desensitized to it. I'm just kind of like, it's whatever. It's Fall Guys. It happens. Things might get better eventually. Probably not. Like, Super Season 1, I think that's what's called, SS1, the last season, the first season free to play, was such a bliss of just like, this is what the game could be if everything was running smoothly. Like, not gonna say it didn't still have some issues, but for the most of it, it was done very well. And as someone who likes to play this game very casually, I do also do competitive events, but like, I see myself as a casual player who just does events sometimes because I'm good at the game. As someone who plays this game mainly casually, I enjoyed it a lot, and I thought it was a really good time. And I kind of like this tweet. And it's just really sad to see that it just went straight back to it. Like, I said at the time, I'm happy with what was going on during last season, but I'm not going to buy fully into Fall Guys being a renewed game that we're never going to see the issues of old pop up again, because their issue was never with releasing one very good thing. It was with releasing continued good things, continued support for stuff. Like, if you think back to the start of the game, Season 1 was fantastic. Everyone loved the game. Season 2 came out. It had like 3 new levels, and that was it. I think it was more like 4 or 5, but not a lot of new levels, and just everyone was really underwhelmed. And then to counteract that, they started adding a little bit more in seasons, but the seasons started getting a lot longer, up until we ended up with 6 to 7 month seasons, with I think the season 6 right before it went free to play was like basically 7 months, and it was awful as a casual player. Most people would just play about half a season and then just kind of wait for the next season, because we all were bored of the game. Like, there was definitely times throughout many seasons where I was only playing Fall Guys for some competitive events because of, well, I kind of like competing and also a bit of money sometimes. And it feels like we're on a path to go back to that. One thing I will say though is I'm really happy this hashtag does exist. I feel like a lot of it, we've like gone, a lot of people have been upset with Fall Guys, but no one's really done a good job at collectively expressing it. And I think this hashtag really brought that out. Like 5,000 tweets at Fall Guys for say Fall Guys, and it's still going up. Like, I checked this morning and it was like 4,000. Now it's already up to 5,000. Now people are still going crazy with it. It's been good to see everyone come together in a pretty nice way. Like, people are expressing their upset without just fully attacking media. Well, I mean, I was saying, mostly without fully attacking a lot of the people, just kind of expressing that they're upset, and that's good to see. On a more personal level, in my thoughts about it, I don't see skill-based matchmaking as the biggest issue. Like, yeah, it can be annoying at times. I think the core issue they're having, like, not saying any of these things are not issues that need to be addressed, but I think the core thing that's upsetting me, at least, I've talked to some people and they feel the same, is the round pool. Just like having no rounds in the game, or missing a majority of the rounds from the game, is just so frustrating. So frustrating as a player from all perspectives, no matter what you want. Like, I've even played with some friends who don't play this game that often. They're like, why are we only seeing like the same few maps? And it's upsetting. One thing I will touch on about skill-based matchmaking being an issue is I think it is an issue in terms of trying to play with friends. Like, during the most recent event, you needed to win a solo game in that. And I was playing with my friend, we were getting all this stuff, and we got down to winning the solo show. Like, we did everything else, had to win the solo show. They could not qualify past round 1 in my lobbies. And like, yeah, sure, it's because they're not good enough, but they have like a couple hundred crowns. They're not like embarrassingly bad at the game. It's just that they were put in my lobbies that were next to impossible for them to play. So that is something I will say I get frustrated about. As for the shop, I don't really care too much for it. Like, yeah, I would wish things would be more affordable, but me personally, with microtransactions, I just very, very rarely use them. So I don't really see it as that big of a thing for me. But they are pretty overpriced. I do get they need to make money and stuff like that. I know this will never happen, but something I thought the old kudo system would have been fine, where you can like buy them but still obtain them if they were still given out at like a similar rate to what they are now, because it still feels like you can actually earn them while still incentivizing people to buy them. The problem they had in old Fall Guys is that they made them way too easy to obtain, which, like, my account has 9 million plus. So that's a cool thing. God, maybe I need to get a life. Some of these other stuff like are definitely problems, but I think the biggest thing is really just the round pool. I can say personally, if the round pool was fixed, I would be playing this game a lot more than I currently am. But in the state it's in, it just doesn't make me want to play. But that's just my thoughts. Feel free to share with me what you guys think. What do you think's the biggest issue with Fall Guys? What do you think they can do to fix it? Because as someone who is currently studying game development, game design, God, watching this game is just frustrating. So frustrating. I know it's a lot more complex than I can comprehend right now, but doesn't make it any less frustrating. We all love Fall Guys and hope for its success, and hopefully they can get it together and save Fall Guys. Wow.